Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to the session. In this session, we learn how can we create a new AWS account. I'm sure you already are having AWS account. I am sure some participants are not having AWS account. So for the participants who are not having AWS account, please follow this particular session and then go ahead and create a new AWS account. Okay. And then the prerequisite for DevOps. I hope you remember in the course content, I have started with Linux. Every DevOps engineer should be comfortable with the Linux commands. You don't need to be in-depth concepts of Linux administration, but basics of regular Linux operations you have to be very comfortable with. So that's the reason to learn Linux commands, we'll be creating a Linux environment, Linux machine on AWS. And then how can we connect to that particular Linux machine using the terminal called as putty. Okay, so this is our plan for today's session. As usual, before moving on to today's session, any questions on the concepts what you have discussed in the previous session, please raise your hand. Any questions on the DevOps introduction? Okay, so there are no questions. Let's proceed. Creating a new AWS account. Participants, I already have an AWS account. Okay, I already have an AWS account. Let me log into my AWS account. The URL is aws.amazon.com. The URL is aws.amazon.com. AWS is a platform. For the participants who are completely new to AWS, AWS is nothing but a platform, which is collection of services. It's a collection of it's a platform, it's a collection of services. Let's log into AWS. Always you have to sign in with using email. So I have logged into AWS. Okay, I've logged into AWS. So AWS is a platform which is collection of services. Again, if you ask me what is a service, I'll give a simple example. We all use Google Drive, right? We all use Google Drive. What is Google Drive? Google Drive is a storage service. Google Drive is a storage service. So this is an example of service which can be used over the internet. If you have internet, you can happily use a Google Drive. You can upload your documents into a Google Drive. So it's an example of service. That similar service of Google Drive, we also have it here. That is called S3. We have a service called S3, which is something similar to Google Drive. So it's collection of services. For example, we have Gmail. What is Gmail? Gmail is an email service, right? Email service. Okay. So these are anything access to can be over the internet is nothing but a service. So AWS is also collection of services. AWS is also collection of services. I have logged into AWS. Now can you see in the left side you have services list. When you click on this, you'll have list of all the services. These are all the list of all the services. Out of all these services, there is a service called EC2 under compute section. Under compute section, there is a service called EC2. EC2 is all about creating servers on cloud. EC2 is nothing but creating cloud instances, cloud servers on cloud, whether it can be Windows server you want, whether you want a Linux machine, whichever you want, any operating system which you want, you can create that using a service called as EC2. So that's the reason I'm selecting a service called EC2. Instances. You can see here, these are number of instances. I already have these number of instances. Instances are nothing but machines. I can say it as servers. I have these many number of servers. Okay, so what is my requirement? I want to create a new line expression. So for new line expression, so I have, if you want to use this kind of AWS account, if you want to explore all these services, you have to have an AWS account. I'm showing you how to create a new AWS account. Let's log out of AWS. Let me show you from the scratch how to create a new AWS account. That's the first step. You need to create a new AWS account. Okay, so if you want to create a new AWS account, three important points you need to keep in mind. You should have email address. No doubt we all have an email address. That's not a problem. We should have mobile number. We all have a mobile number. That's not a problem. Okay. So if you have two mobile numbers, if you're maintaining two mobile numbers, please use the mobile number which is linked to your bank account. Okay. We should have debit card or credit card. Anyone should be there. We may not have credit card, but all of us are having a debit card. Okay, so these are three details are required: email address, mobile number, and debit card. If you have these three details, yes, you can go ahead and create a new AWS account by using the URL aws.amazon.com. Sign in. Can you see here? Sign in to the console if you already have an account. If you're not having an account, click on sign in. If you already have an account, you can sign in happily. You can sign in with the existing account. If you're not having an account, scroll down. Sign into the console. Always sign in using email. And here you have an option of creating a new AWS. If you're new to AWS, yes, you can go ahead and create a new AWS account. So here we have an option of creating a new AWS account. Okay, so click on go ahead and create a new AWS account. As I mentioned, you should provide all these details. Obviously, it takes approximately 10 minutes. You need to provide email address. Next step, you need to provide mobile number. Next step, you need to provide debit card. Okay, so step one, you can see here, it is asking for the email address. Okay, and you have to verify email address. One OTP will be sent to your email address. You have to verify the email address. Next, you need to provide your mobile number. An OTP will be sent to mobile number. You have to verify your mobile number. Next, you have to verify everything. You have to verify it. Okay, I have clearly prepared a document which helps you to go ahead and create a new AWS account. A step-by-step document along with the screenshots I have prepared for the participants who want to create a new AWS account. As you can see here, step one is to provide the URL aws.amazon.com. Here we have an option of creating a new AWS account. Okay. Provide email address. Provide login password. Okay. Generally, we log in using email address and login password. You need to select your AWS account name and click on continue. So you have provided your email address in the step one. Contact information. AWS provides very important observation. AWS provides two types of accounts. You can see here, one is professional account, the other one is personal account. We are creating AWS account for our personal use. Select the option as personal. Select the option as personal. Provide the full name, provide the mobile number, and provide the right country. I have seen some participants providing India mobile number and they don't select the country. It is very important. The combination should be correct. Provide India mobile number so that the country as India. If you have US mobile number, provide the US number. Okay. So you need to provide your mobile number. That is step two. Next, step three, obviously the third details, you have to provide your card information, your card number, expiry date, and card holder name. Okay. So you can see here, I'm providing my card information. Got it? That is step three. As I told you, three details in three steps. The card details, what you have entered, will be verified by deducting 2 rupees from your bank account. Okay, the card details, what you have entered, will be verified by deducting 2 rupees. You will get an OTP, okay, which is linked to your particular card. You get an OTP to verify your debit card or credit card. So you'll get an OTP for verifying the debit card. Next. You get one more OTP. You get one more SMS. You get one more OTP to verify your mobile number. The first OTP for verifying the debit card. You get one more OTP to verify the mobile number what you have entered. Okay. AWS provides three types of plans. AWS provides three types of plans: basic plan, developer plan, and business plan. Okay, so observe here, basic plan is free. Basic plan is free. Basic plan is more than enough for us to practice the DevOps concepts. So please select basic plan. So the account which you are creating is a free account, which is valid for 12 months. Okay, so please select your role and select your technology and click on OK. That's all. You get a confirmation thank you message, and you get a confirmation email saying that the AWS account has been successfully created. Okay. Once your AWS account is successfully created, okay, then you can again log in with the email address what you have used and log in with the login password, and you will have access to the AWS account. It takes just 10 minutes to go ahead and create a AWS account. Please proceed and go ahead and create a new AWS account. Few points you need to keep in mind. Keep it note. The debit card which you are using should be enabled for international transactions. Got it? The debit card should be enabled for international transactions. Okay, so please enable the debit card. You can enable it using your mobile app, or you can go to internet banking of your bank and enable it. Every card, SBI, ICICI, HDFC, any card will have this international transactions option. Please enable the card for international transactions. Okay, so then only the card will be accepted. So once you create an AWS account, step one is you get a confirmation mail saying that the AWS account has been created. After 8 hours, you get one more email saying that AWS account is activated. Creation is different, my dear participants, activation is different. Once the AWS account is created, you get an email saying that AWS account will be activated soon. You get one more email after 8 hours saying the AWS account has been activated. Once it is activated, you can happily log into your email, and you log into AWS and start using the AWS services. Clear? So this is the process of going ahead and creating a new AWS account. Okay. As we all know how to create a new AWS account. Now, why are we creating new AWS account? The context is to learn Linux. The context is to learn Linux. Okay. So I'm now showing you how to create a Linux machine. How to create a Linux machine on AWS. How to create a new Linux machine on AWS. Going ahead with the URL aws.amazon.com. Sign in. sign in with using email. So I'm selecting a service called EC2 under compute section. This is a service called EC2. So using the EC2 service, you can go ahead and create a new instances. You can select here instances. Instances are nothing but the virtual machines. Okay, so these are all existing instances. I'm not worried about existing instances. I want to create a new machine. You want to create a Linux environment. The new machine is called as an instance. So we can also say I'm creating a new Linux instance. Okay, so let's have a pictorial representation. Our plan is to create a Linux machine on AWS Cloud. Agree? Our plan is to create a Linux machine on AWS Cloud. Okay. So right now I have connected to AWS. I have logged into the corresponding service called as EC2. So here we have an option called launch instances, which is used for going ahead and creating a new machine. Point number one, how many number of instances you want to create. So select it as one. You can create many number of instances in one shot. So name of the machine. Name of the machine can be anything. I'm naming it as machine one. Okay. When you're creating a new machine, you have to select operating system. OS stands for operating system. Whether you want to create Amazon Linux, you can create a Mac operating system. Okay. You can create an Ubuntu, you can create Windows machine, Red Hat. There are different flavors of operating system. You can select anything whichever you want. I want to go ahead with creating an Ubuntu machine. Ubuntu. The moment you select the operating system, obviously you get the versions. Ubuntu 24.4. You can see here. Ubuntu 22 version. So you have the versions whichever you want. So I'm going ahead. Remember, there are few versions which are not eligible for free tier. Have you observed? For example, Ubuntu Pro 24, okay, is not eligible for free tier. There are few machines which are not eligible. Ubuntu with the SQL Server 2022 is also not eligible for free tier. So remember, we have created a free tier account. Okay, so please make sure that you select the free tier options. So I am selecting the free tier option that is 24.04. So I'm selecting Ubuntu 24.04 next. Okay, so I'm selecting 24. Still processing. Naming it as machine one. I want to create an Ubuntu version. I want to go with 1 to 24, the latest version. That's fine. Scroll down. Instance type. What is the instance type of this particular machine? What do you know instance type? Okay, let me explain you in detail. We are creating a Linux machine on AWS, no doubt. My question for you is, what is the RAM of this particular Linux machine? RAM is nothing but what is the memory? How many processors this Linux machine is having? And what is the storage hard disk of this particular Linux machine? So my question is, what is the hardware configuration of the Linux machine? Isn't it? So whenever we buy a laptop, we ask the peripheral shop owner, what is the hardware configuration? Isn't it? Is it an i5 laptop or an i7 laptop? Is it 16 gigabyte memory? Is it 1 TB storage or 500 GB storage? So in the same way, when you're creating a Linux machine, how powerful machine you want to go ahead and create? You want to create a RAM with 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM or 32 GB RAM. You can go ahead with 64 GB RAM. You can create with one processor. You can go ahead and create machine with 10 process, 16 process. So it's up to you. You can create a storage with 1 TB. So we have to select the options. It's flexible. Okay. The hardware configuration of the Linux machine is dependent on instance type. So this is hardware configuration is dependent on instance type. I am selecting an instance type T2 micro. What is the instance type I'm selecting? T2 micro. T2 micro instances are instances which comes with this T2 micro instances comes with 1 GB RAM and one processor, one CPU, one core CPU. The T2 micro comes with 1 GB RAM and one CPU. That's it. Very, very small instance. Okay, let's say you don't want, so you may have a question. So 1 GB RAM is very, very, very less. You can go with, you want to go with 8 GB RAM. Then you have to change the instance type. There are a lot of instance types available. You can see here, instance type. The default option is T2 micro. The T2 micro comes with one CPU and 1 GB memory. Why I'm selecting T2 micro? Because this T2 micro instances are free tier eligible. So it will not be charged. You want a higher configuration instance, click on this drop down list. You have an option called T2 small, which comes with 2 GB memory. Can you see here 2 GB memory? T2 medium comes with 4 GB memory and 2 processors. T2 large comes with 8 GB memory and 2 processors. Got it. But these are all not eligible for free tier. You will be billed. You can see here 0.1272 US dollars per hour. Got it. So these are all billed. Okay. So whereas T2 micro is a free instance, T2 micro is more than enough for us to practice hands-on. So I'm selecting T2 micro. So we now know the hardware configuration. It is one CPU. So, and what is our memory? As you can see, it is 1 GB memory. So now we have the answers for our hardware configuration. It is 1 GB memory and 1 CPU. Okay, coming to hard disk. Yes, I'll be explaining that soon. Come down, scroll down. Key pair. When you're creating a new AWS account, it will ask you to create a key pair. What is a key pair? A key pair is nothing but a file with extension PPK. A key pair is nothing but a file with extension .ppk. Now this key pair is used for connectivity purpose, not just creating a Linux machine. Okay, so from your personal laptop, we should able to not just creating a Linux machine on AWS, you should able to connect to that Linux machine, isn't it? If you want to connect to the Linux machine, this PPK file is used for connectivity purpose, for authentication purpose. So let me go ahead and create a new key pair. Keypair name, I'm naming it as anything. You can write it as my name Sunil. Okay. KP stands for keypair with today's date 22. Any name you can write it. And there are two formats, PEM and PPK files. I'm going ahead with PPK and go ahead and create a new keypair. So I am in E drive where I'm downloading in the Sunil folder. I'm downloading the PPK file. Can you see here? It has been downloaded. You can also see here. This is the key PPK file which is downloaded today 22nd. This is the PPK file. Okay, let me take a note of it. File has been downloaded. Okay, so this file, what is the use of this file? I'll be explaining you later. So file has been downloaded in this particular location. Let's take a note of it. The key pair is downloaded in this particular location. That's fine. Next, once the key pair is ready, scroll down. Network settings, take the default network settings. You don't need to worry about this. Storage, you can see here 8 GB volume. 8 GB volume is nothing but 8 GB hard disk. Now you have the answer of all the three configurations. One GB memory, one CPU, and 8 GB SSD. Perfect. Storage. Okay, scroll down. That's it. You're done with configuring all the details. You can see here summary. So number of instances, Ubuntu 24 version, which is of T2 micro instances with his 8 GB volume. That's fine. Go ahead and launch instance. Successfully launched. Scroll down. View all instances. You can see here. Click on refresh. Where is the new instance? You can see it is pending. This is the machine one which we have created. It is still pending. It will take some time for the machine to get created and it will be into running state. So this is the process of creating a new. You can see it is successfully running. Okay. First, the machine will be in uh, pending state, and then within a minute, the machine will be in running state. The machine is now up and running. So we have successfully learn the process of creating a new AWS. Okay. So once the AWS account is created, now how can we connect? How can we connect to this Linux machine, which is running on AWS? If you want to connect to that Linux machine, we need a terminal. We need a terminal. Terminal is required because Linux is all about a command-based operating system. We need one terminal to connect to that Linux machine and run the Linux commands. The terminal is called as PuTTY. So what is PuTTY? PuTTY is a terminal which is used to connect to the Linux machine. So what you have to do, you have to download the PuTTY in your personal laptop or desktop. Okay, so let's go ahead and download the terminal that is PuTTY, which will help us to connect to that Linux machine. Machine is already created. Now our plan is to connect to that particular Linux machine. Okay, so you have to download PuTTY. Just search download PuTTY. Take the first site, putty.org. And select the first option, PuTTY, download PuTTY. Observation, you will be redirected to one more site, chairk.greenend.org.uk. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Scroll down. Download this putty.exe file. Download this putty.exe. I'm downloading in my downloads folder. So the putty terminal is coming in the form of an exe file, and I have downloaded just now in the downloads folder. open that particular putty terminal. So this is how the putty looks like. Okay, so this is how the terminal looks like. This putty is helping us to connect to this particular line expression. Okay, perfect. So this is the terminal, and this particular putty is used for connecting to the line expression. Okay, so how to connect to the line expression? So the putty's terminal is ready. How to connect to the line expression? What all details are required? If you want to connect to the line expression, okay, you should have DNS. You should have DNS. Okay. So how to get the connectivity string or connectivity details? Select the machine. This is the machine you want to connect. Is it to click on connect button? When you click on connect button, you'll have 4 tabs: easy to instance, connect, session manager, SSH client, and easy to serial console. So go to SSH client. Go to SSH client, and then this is the connectivity string. This SSH command is used to connect to the client expression. Okay. So this, sorry, you don't need to mention all this. You have to select this one, public DNS. This is what you have to click, public DNS. You have to select this user at DNS. Select this particular part. You need to have username for connectivity. User at the DNS, pick up this connectivity string. This will be the host name. And as I told you, we need a key pair for connectivity purpose. So for that, we have created a key pair. The name of the key pair is Sunil KP22.p pair, and the key pair is available in E drive Sunil folder. So your putty needs the key pair for connectivity purpose. So under SSH, under connection, under SSH, under authentication, under credentials, can you see private key? It's nothing but the key pair. Click on browse and upload the key pair. Connect your key pair. So my key pair is available in E drive. So Sunil folder. PK file. Click on open. Are you sure you want to accept? Yes. Perfect. So participants, I have successfully connected. Let me increase the font size. So I have successfully connected to the Linux machine. What is the proof? You're getting an IP address. 172.31.1.182. Can you see here? I'll prove it. One 172.31.1.182. Are you getting the same IP address? Is it? Are you getting the same IP address? Perfect. I have successfully clear the screen. I have successfully connected to the Linux machine. I repeat one more time how to disconnect it, exit to disconnect the connection. So if you want to connect to that Linux machine, if you want to connect to the Linux machine, select the machine whichever you want to connect, click on connect. Under SSH client, pick up user at a DNS. This will be the connection string. Participants, this will be the connection string. So that you have to enter in the terminal. This will be the connection string. So this is a connection string which helps you to connect to Linux machine. So what terminal we use? We use putty. So putty already have downloaded. Okay, so open the putty. Here, click on user at DNS is what I have entered. Under SSH, under authentication, under credentials, upload your key pair. Key pair is for connectivity purpose. Successfully connected. As simple as that. Okay, so not only creating a new Linux machine, we have successfully connected to that Linux machine. Clear? So we know how to create a new AWS account. We know how to create a Linux machine on AWS. You know how to connect to the Linux machine using AWS Linux machine using the terminal called as putty. Perfect. Okay. So let's get started with Linux. I want to create a new file. I want to go ahead and create a new file. I want to create a new file in Linux. Okay. What is the name of the file? I want to create name of the file with the name F1 is the name of the file which I want to create. If you want to create a file, okay, so we can do it by using the command called cat command. So cat is a command which helps you to create a new file. So the command is cat. The syntax is cat use greater than symbol. That is called redirection operator. Mention the file which you want to create. The file gets created. Generally, why do we create a file? Why do we create a file? To save some data. Okay. For example, you have to write the data into a file. For example, let me do that. So let me go ahead and create a new file. Let me go ahead and create a new file. Cat greater than, mention the file which you want to create. If F1, the file gets created. Okay. Write the contents into the file. For example, good morning. Welcome to the DevOps course. This is the 3 lines of content I want to write it into the file F1 and how to come out of the cat command. So you have to use Control D to come out of the cat commands. I'm using Control D. Participants, I'm now out from the cat command. Back to my dollar prompt. I'm done with creating a file. So here the file has been created. The name of the file is F1. The file is having 3 lines of content. I will create one more file. Cat greater than symbol. I want to create a file with the name F2. And some content. I want to write it. And then how to come out of the cat command, Control D to come out of the cat command. So how many files I have created? 2 files I have created, isn't it? How many files I have created? 2 files I have created, file 1 and file 2. How to see list of all the files? We have a command called ls. We have a command called ls stands for list, which helps you to see the list of all the files. I want to look at the list of all the files. I'm writing a command called ls. You can see the files has been created. File has been successfully created. Got it? Perfect. So this is how to create a file in Linux. So what is the command we have used? Cat command is used to create a file. So we have 2 files, F1 and F2. How to clear the screen? We have a command called clear, which helps you to clear the screen. ls to see list of all the files. So we have created 2 files, F1 and F2. I want to see the data in the file. I want to read the data. The file F1, the first file is having 3 lines of content, right? So that is good morning, welcome to the DevOps. And you want to read the data. Whenever you want to read the data, the command is the same. Cat command, which we have used it for creating a new file. We have cat command, right? Greater than operator we have used, which helps you to create a new file. If you want to read the existing file, you don't want to create a new file. File is already existing. You want to read the data. In such case, cat don't use greater than symbol, just write F1. The file, you can see the contents in the file. Cat, just mention the file name F1. Can you see? Good morning, welcome to the DevOps, and thank you. Got it? Perfect. Perfect. So this is how you can read the data read the data present in the existing file. I want to read the data in second file F2. We have some junk data. Are you able to see the junk data? Yes. Clear? So this is how you can create a new file and you can also read the data present in the new file. Okay. Now There are two ways of creating new file. One, you use cat greater than symbol, mention the file name. So which we already have. So this is one way of creating a file. The second way of creating the file is by using the touch command. By using the touch command also, you can go ahead and create a new file. By using the touch command, you can go ahead and create a new file. For example, I want to create a file using F3, new file with the name F3. This time I will be doing using the command called touch, not cat command. Please experience the difference. Touch followed with the file name F3, the file got created. I want to create one more file, F4, the file got created. I want to create one more file, F5, the file got created. Total, how many files I have created? 5 files. F1 and F2 are the first two files which I have created using the cat command. The remaining files I have created by using the touch command. Have you observed the difference? Have you observed the difference? The difference is when you're creating a file by using cat command, observe what's happening. The file gets created, control is entering into the file. We are writing some 3 lines or 5 lines of content and control D to come out of the cat command. So that's all happening when you're creating a file by using the cat command. The same file, let's say, for example, if you're creating a file by using touch command, is it asking you to write some data? No, the moment you write the touch command, immediately you're getting the dollar prompt back. Isn't it? Are you writing some content? No. This means you have to understand touch command is used when you're creating, when you want to create an empty file. So this file 3, file 4, file, these are all empty files. So if your plan is to create an empty file, later you want to write some content, but right now your requirement is to create one empty file. So you can quickly do it by using touch. You can quickly do it by using touch. So touch is used for creating an empty file. Got it? So the two files, two ways. Remember by using the cat command, the other one is by using the touch command. Okay, now I want to remove the file. We know how to create a file. Let's learn the other way, how to remove the file. We have a command called rm, stands for remove, which helps you to remove the file. Let's, for example, I want to remove the file, last file F5. Happily, you can write rm, mention the file which you want to remove. The file has been removed. ls, previously we have 5 files, now we have only 4 files. I want to remove the second file F2. rm, whatever the file you want, you can mention F2. The file has been removed. ls, now you are left with only 3 files. So creating is by using cat and touch command, removing by using the rm command. You can remove the file whichever you want. Clear about this? Okay. So you may have a question, how can we make some changes to an existing file? That is called editor. We'll be seeing that soon in the coming sessions. Okay, so VI editor is used for editing the files. This we'll be discussing later. Next, how to create a directory. How to create a directory. In Windows, it is called as folder. In Linux, it is called as directory. We have a command called mkdir, okay, which helps you to create a new directory. Okay, so I want to create a directory with the name D1. I want to create a directory with the name D1, mkdir, make directory, mention the directory which you want to create. So this helps you to create a new directory. Helps you to create a new directory. You can see here, mkdir, mention the directory which you want to create, D1, directory got created, ls. You can see here 3 files and 1 directory. Okay, so you can see the directory has been created. D1 is a directory. Okay. I want to create one more directory, mkdir, second directory D2. You can say ls command will not only show you list of files, it will also show you list of files as well as list of directories. Both, it will show you list of files as well as list of directories. So I'm done with creating a directory. Okay. Now, how can we remove the directory? rm -r, the best way. Rm is just for removing the file. But if you want to remove the directory, rm is, we already have learned remove, which helps you to remove the file. But if your plan is to remove directory, you have to use -r, stands for recursive. Mention the directory which you want to remove. Okay, so recursive means it first removes the contents which are there in the directory. If the directory is having some files, the files are also removed, and finally the directory is removed. Right now the directories are empty, but still that is the good command. That's the best command. rm-r mention the directory which you want to remove d2. So directory has been removed. Ls to see list of files and directories, the directory has been removed. So this is how you can go ahead and create files, remove files, create directories, and remove directories. Next point. Once you're done practicing, please disconnect the connections using the command exit. Okay. And then, especially beginners, we have a habit of this is the machine, right? This is the machine which we have created is running. Generally, after practicing, beginners, what we do, we have an option called sign out here, directly sign out. But that's not a good practice. Machine is running. When your machine is running, you should not sign out. Okay, we have to stop the machine. You can see, like other machines, you have to stop the machine. We have an option called instance state. There's an option called stop the machine, which helps you to stop the machine. Which helps you to stop the machine. And whenever you want, you can start it again. If you want to remove the machine permanently, you can see there's an option called terminate, or in other words, delete if you want to remove it. If you don't want permanently, you can remove it. I don't want permanently. I want to continue using this machine tomorrow, so I'll be stopping the machine. Are you sure you want to stop the machine? Successfully initiated stopping of the machine. So right now you can see the status. Previously it was running, now it is stopping. Just less than a minute. It just takes less than a minute for the machine to get into the stopper state. Okay, always you can start after whenever you want, you can start again. How to start? Let's say any machine. If you want to start, select the machine, and we have an option called start option, which helps you to start the machine. Okay, you can see here now the machine is this machine which we have just now created, not this one. The machine which you have just now created is stopped. And happily, if you have stopped, then you can happily sign out. Because this is a free account, you can do not misuse it. It has some limitations. So please stop the missions, and whenever you are done with practicing, and stop the mission. Okay. So this is our plan for today's session. You now know how to go ahead and create a new AWS account. You know how to create a Linux machine. You know how to connect to Linux machine using putting. Got it? So what is the plan tomorrow? Tomorrow's plan is to get started with commands. So we have just learned few commands like creating files, removing the files, creating directories, and removing the directories. Much more in detail concepts of files and commands is the exclusively complete session we'll be discussing on the Linux commands for the plan tomorrow, same time. Okay. Any questions before closing? So that's it of our plan for today's session. See you tomorrow. Okay. For much more learning on the Linux commands. Okay. That's our agenda for tomorrow's session. Have a good time. Thank you.